Hello everyone on YouTube, this is Lewis and the Trans, aka Lewis JM for fanfiction, aka LM25 for the 360, and I'm here to talk about Limp Bizkit 3030's so-called rant about Lost Matadores and their bullfriend El Torito. Now, before I even begin, I just want to say something to this. Limp Bizkit 3030, pretty sure you know me, Lewis JM. You gave me your own thoughts about Teen Titans Go and how the series went downhill from then. But and I know you're a big fan of my work, and being that your stories, mostly the Matrix stories, gave me inspiration to make my own stories and whatnot. So please understand what I'm gonna say isn't much of rants or any particular way, just my own opinion from Lost Matadores. And if you have anything to say, don't worry, let me know and see what I'm doing wrong. Now that that's out of the way, let me talk about Los Matadores. Now, Limp Bizkit 3030, I know you have your opinion about Los Matadores, being that these so-called Boo Fighters are actually Epico and Primo, two Puerto Ricans. And I guess I can understand your anger about that. And when you were watching the premiere on Raw and SmackDown, and when you saw the bull, I mean, my first thought when I saw that bull was, are they serious? They're bringing in like a little bull mascot for no reason. Though don't get me wrong, I'm quite impressed by this new direction Epico and Primo are doing. I mean, okay, so they're Spanish bullfighters when they're really Puerto Ricans, maybe, but the way they performed is a lot more better than what they did before. But this is a good example of reinventing yourself as a tag team division. Because there are like a lot of good tag teams that had a big jump start with their own little gimmicks. Like for instance, Too Cool, Sky Too High, and Grandmaster Sexay with the little breakdancing moves and the worm. I remember that one so well. But there are two good examples of great tag teams. Well, not great tag teams, but tag teams that reinvented themselves into becoming stable names. One group, of course, is the Kai and Tai. I know you stated before that Kai and Tai kind of got disbanded a long time ago. But let me give you a few honest opinions. I have a stepbrother in Pete, who is also a big wrestling fan. As you can see, I have like the gear from WrestleMania, which he took me to. And I told him about the whole Lost Matadores being the Epico and Primo, and he told me that there are like a lot of good tag teams that reinvented themselves as great tag team superstars. Kai and Tai is a good example because Kai and Tai were just about two wrestlers were a tag team in Japan, and the WWE had no idea what they're gonna do with those two. But then, of course, in the 90s, the Japanese culture mixing with the English dub has become a big norm. Good examples like Dragon Ball Z, Sailor Moon, a couple of good anime movies on the Sci-Fi Channel before they kind of scrapped that. You know, basic stuff. And they decided let's just have them mouth out words in a mute session and have someone do English dub. You know, like when Taka Michinoku does the whole yapping around and it's all in English, and Funaki finishes off with the indeed. That was a little hilarious. And although I'm pretty sure they do actually speak English too. I mean, Funaki speaks English most of the time when he was disbanded. So yeah. That was an interesting tag team. It did last for for a few years until they disbanded in 2001. Honestly, I think that was a pretty good tag team in my books. Another big example was the Acolytes, the APA. Of course, the WWE management had no idea what to do with that tag team, Bradshaw and Farouk. So they come up with an interesting idea. Why don't we bring them into random bars and let them go into major bar fights everywhere they go? Now by watching those types of bar fights, you get to see why they were really popular, because they are roughneck, tough. They're kind of the whole bar fighting scene, and it really worked out. I mean, that escalated them into tag team champions, and they have their own little protection agency called the APA. If it was one for that little bar fight, they wouldn't even exist or be Hall of Famers or whatnot. Hell, if it wasn't for the APA to begin with, we would have had John Bradshaw Layfield going into the picture, being a world heavyweight champion, WWE champion. He would have been a great stockholder individual. Good point is right there. Now finally, I want to talk about the mascot aspect. You know, El Torito in his little bull costume. Now I know Limp Bizkit 3030 that you were pretty much upset about the whole bull mascot thing, and you did state in a couple of YouTube videos that there were like a lot of mascots that were worse than El Torito. But I think I'll give you one that seemed like the best option yet. If you remember Finlay, who made his debut in mid-2000s, he worked out well as a brawler in Ireland. Then after a couple of months, he brought in like a little midget leprechaun named Hornswoggle. Now it does feel a little awkward seeing a little leprechaun. Kind of reminds you of that Lucky Charms guy. But he does a pretty good job making chaos wherever he goes. He even even if Finlay was retired from wrestling, Hornswoggle is still around, going with other wrestlers like D-Generation X is one example, and recently the Great Khali. And he kind of removed his little leprechaun gimmick to make him look a little more modern for the WWE universe. Some people might think that Hornswoggle was a mistake, but to me, I think he's still pretty good at what he does. Now, in conclusion, I know that you think that Lost Matadores and El Torito seem like the worst concept imaginable, but maybe you may never know. I mean, they're still undefeated to this day, and they had great rivalries from 3MB and the Real Americans. And who knows? Being how successful they're just about becoming, maybe they'll get to become tag team champions. That's of course my opinion. I don't know if that's highly unlikely. And you may never know if they would take on tougher individuals like the Shield or the Wyatt family. So yeah, pretty much they're pretty good so far. I don't know when they're gonna stop doing this little gimmick. Could be a few months, could be a year or two. But all in all, I say that's a pretty unique tag team. And don't consider this a rant or anything. And this is my own opinion, and I hope you understand that that you may never know what's gonna happen if they're gonna bring in new tag teams. Means for Lost Matadores to take on. It's just a thought, Limp Bizkit 3030. Just think about that. Just let me know what you think, and then we'll call it even. Okay? Okay. Once again, this is Lewis JM signing off. Hope you all enjoy my own honest opinion about Lost Matadores, and stay tuned for more videos of me.